Good morning. Apologize for all of this. I'm having a bit of a difficult night and struggling a little bit this morning, but I've got my tea and my honey. Hopefully, help me out a little bit. My throat is a little bit raw as well, so I'm sorry if it's a little low. But this will be the first meeting that we are doing, separating the coffee date from the discussion. And we'll just kind of see how this flow goes. If we prefer this a bit better, I'll be posting these before the coffee date starts, so that if you wish to talk about it at the coffee date later on, we can do that. These won't be very long. They're just going to be like little pep talks, right? I don't want to, bore you with a 45-minute lecture. I just want to give you a little pep talk of something that maybe you can think about and begin to implement. So today we are talking about, today we're going to be talking about disappointment and whether that is disappointing others or other people disappointing you. And there's one phrase. Hold on, I want to show you guys what this dog is doing right now. She's on a yoga mat sunbathing. There's one phrase that I try to keep in mind when I start to feel disappointed, and that is that I am not responsible for other people's actions, and I am not responsible for the way that people react to my actions. So that is when I disappoint people and when people disappoint me, I am not responsible for how they feel about my actions, right? And that's a tricky one to really implement, because disappointment is a hard thing to confront. When you disappoint someone, it's very hard to work around. And when someone disappoints you, it's really hard to confront it and and get over it, get past it, right? There are times where, say, you're setting boundaries with someone in their behavior of I'm not going to tolerate this type of behavior, right? You're setting that boundary. Oftentimes people get very defensive and very offended when boundaries are set, and it comes off as a type of disappointment where they're like, well, now I'm not allowed to do what I want to do. Why not? And it comes off as them being upset with you. I was recently very much disappointed in a friend, and I had to keep telling myself all week of I am not responsible for how they're choosing to react. How they're choosing to react is going to define our relationship, but I'm not going to force them to feel one way or another, right? I can feel disappointed in it, but I also need to accept the fact that that is how they're choosing to behave. And then I need to reevaluate my boundaries on whether or not I'm going to allow that behavior in my life. And that's not being super strict or hardcore or, like a holier than thou mentality. It's valuing your time and valuing your space. And if somebody is bringing energy into your space that you're just like, I don't know if I can have that here anymore, you have to set that boundary or you're going to constantly be disappointed. I also like to view it as if you're not doing anything malicious, right? If you're not doing anything cool or that's intentionally hurting people, if it's just literally a boundary issue, which a lot of problems are boundary issues. Like, if someone gets upset with you, it's usually a boundary problem where they're like, I didn't like that you did this. Well, I didn't know that, you let me do it before. What's the problem? I've always behaved this way. Why is this a problem now? And that's when boundaries get really hard, because you have so many years and years and years of, say, me behaving a certain way for years and years and years. And then one day a friend is like, I hate that. I've always hated that. Well, you could have told me that 6 years ago. We could have avoided all of these problems. So there's ways to avoid disappointment by speaking up and placing boundaries. And there's also, if you're not being malicious and somebody's disappointed in you, you're just doing something outside the norm that they don't appreciate, and that's okay. As long as you are safe and you are comfortable, if somebody feels disappointed in you and how you are choosing to live your life, that is a them problem, not a you problem. So that's just a little, very brief conversation on it, because I know that it's not talked about very often, um, in ways to actually deal with it. Usually people just coast along when somebody's disappointed in them or they're upset with somebody. And there's a difference between being disappointed and angry, right? Disappointed, that's deep. That's deep in your feelings where you're just like, that is a real bummer. And I've been saying it this week a lot when I talk to Cameron, that a lot of the events that are happening right now are relationship defining. And that's scary, but it's also, I always feel like those moments are so necessary because it needed to happen, right? Sometimes we need to have that level of almost like a heartbreak of disappointment to really feel like you're, what are you doing, Ed? To really feel like you're honoring yourself. You have to kind of reevaluate those relationships and see, do I want to constantly be disappointed and have to confront this problem over and over and over again? Or can I just move on with my life and try something else and establish boundaries with new relationships moving forward? So that's my little talk about disappointment. You're not responsible for the way people react. You're not. You're not responsible for the way that they feel about how you're living your life. Again, if you're not doing anything malicious or harmful, you're not doing anything wrong. They don't have to like everything that you have going on. They could do that in their life and be happy with it. That doesn't mean that you have to. So just keep that little phrase in mind whenever, you get confronted with those problems. Just be like, I'm not responsible for the way that you are choosing to react to this situation. See if it helps. It does lighten the load a little bit. Puts a little less on you. We'll see. Let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of tips or things that you use when you feel disappointed. If there's something that is like your trusty trick, let me know what works for you in confronting these types of emotions. And then, we can grow our knowledge together. But I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.